Ahoy! Joe Buddy Hambone here to chat you up about Death City, a dark occult urban fantasy tabletop RPG. Death City is a sprawling environment embroiled in supernatural turmoil, home to a metaphorical and literal underworld which is bursting at the seams. It's rife with demons, ghouls, vampires, cultists, and all sorts of creatures that go bump in the night. Heroes and anti-heroes in black leather hunt bounties and solve cases, sparring with monsters of both a human and non-human variety. Inspired by Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Yu Yu Hakusho, Hellboy, Shin Megami Tensei, Blade, and more, Death City from Polyhedra Games launches on Kickstarter October 21st.
This is the Vintage RPG Podcast, your source for the best in classic and contemporary RPGs. With your hosts, Hambone and Stu.
Welcome to the Vintage RPG Podcast, coming at you again from the clubhouse, hidden somewhere in the swamps of New Jersey. I'm John Hambone McGuire, and with me, as always, is the founder and publisher of Unwinnable, the only king he knows flips burgers, Stu.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, a while back, we did an episode on a game called Lords of Creation. It was a tentpole game for Avalon Hill's role-playing game line. It was penned by Tom Moldvay, who created, the BX, Dungeons and Dragons. And it remains one of the most batshit insane role-playing games I have ever encountered. It was meant to be like the beginner friendly line. And it was a really complicated system. And it was like genre mashing, and like everything was smashed into this thing. So there was a core set and 3 boxed scenarios, which were, ridiculously expensive for the time, and relative to what you were getting. But it's all, substance wise, I think it's great. The last scenario, you wind up in the future, and you're helping the ghost of John Brown foment a labor uprising. There's a lot of really great stuff. There's Yetis, there's aliens, there's all sorts of ridiculous things in there. It's just the wheels were never on. And I posted about it, and we did the podcast episode, and in the wake of that, I learned that there was a follow-up project that Moldvay did.
Really?
Yeah, after sort of the Avalon Hill thing dried up, he was still kind of interested in this sort of idea of like the slipstream genre bending and the ideas behind Lords of Creation, but he sort of like left the system behind. There were more scenarios that were supposed to come out that never saw the light of day. I don't know if this is what we're going to talk about today is one of them, or if it was something else that he kind of came up with in the wake of it, but it's pretty great. It's called The Future King.
Oh, I love that.
Like I said, he jettisoned the original Lords of Creation system. This is an extremely light 2d6 system, meter beat with modifiers depending on the skills. Very simple. The rules are a single page in this one book. It's all complete package. You're playing pre-generated characters, and you are trying to wake up King Arthur because the time is now. In the legends, like he dies. Mordred and him kill each other, but he's sort of like he's dying. He's mortally wounded, but he's spirited off to Avalon, where he goes to sleep. And the legend says that he'll return in Britain's time of its greatest need.
Might have slept through that, homie.
Yeah, I mean it is sort of weird that he didn't show up in World War II during the Blitz.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, the idea is that at some point in the future. It isn't the future. It's you're not really sure when you're waking Arthur up because you're going through a series of it's a super linear adventure. It's all these set pieces where like weird stuff happens and you're trying to find the 3 objects that you need to wake the king successfully. And that's the skeleton of Sir Bedivere. Bedivere is the guy who, when Arthur was laying dying, Arthur's like, you got to throw the sword. You got to throw Excalibur back into the water. You got to get rid of it. And 3 times he does this. It's like very Jesus-y. And Bedivere just can't bear to do it. So he's like, I threw it in. And Arthur's like, no, you didn't. Come on, I'm dying. You got to do it. And then the 3rd time he throws it in. and the hand comes up and catches it, and then I guess that's like the way Arthur gets his ticket to Avalon. I'm a little unclear. I haven't read the Lamort to Arthur in a long time, but yeah. So for some reason, you need to find the skeleton of Sir Bedivere. You also need to find Excalibur, and you also have to get this magic bell that will wake up Arthur and the Sleeping Knights. The Sleeping Knights is like a different legend that's sort of derivative of. Not really. It's like a European legend where there's just the idea of the sleeper who awakens in the time of need is like a bit of folklore that repeats across Europe. And a lot of for England, it's often King Arthur, but there's other places where it's a bunch of knights. Alan Garner, whose novels and folklore collections I enjoy, where he is in Cheshire. Alderley Edge, they have a legend about sleeping knights. And the idea is that there's a wizard who's watching over these 50 knights. There's also 50 horses, but there's only 49 horses. So he stops this farmer who has this white horse. And the guy's like, the wizard's like, I'll buy the horse. And the farmer's like, no, I'm going to town to buy it, to sell it. I'm going to get a much better price than whatever some crazy old guy on a hill is going to give me. And the wizard's like, no, you won't. You're not going to sell that horse. You're going to sell it to me on your way home. So the guy goes and he doesn't sell his horse, and he brings it back, and the wizard's waiting. He's like, I told you. And he's like, come with me. And he brings him into the side of the hill where there's these 50 knights sleeping, and there's 49 horses, all white, beautiful horses. And he's like, this is the last horse that we need to ensure that when the knights are ready and needed, that they have the right, horses to ride forth on. And there's variants of this all over the place. The Three Hearts, Three Lions by what's his name? Paul Anderson. The Ogier the Dame. Whatever his name is. Holger, I think, is the name of the character, but he's also Ogier the Dane. But he's one of Charlemagne's paladins who's asleep, and he does show up in the context of that novel during World War II, which was, an hour of need.
Fair play.
So all of this stuff, like it's like pretty common sort of legend, but the thing that really stands and yeah, like you're going through time and space. There's random encounters with Sinbad. Saint Germain is in it. There's a futuristic bounty hunter, like a soldier of fortune kind of guy. You could run into as part of random encounters that sort of like you might be in like, I don't know, ancient Rome, and then like this soldier of fortune from the future could like show up. Because the random encounters sort of spice up the linearity. But the real thing, and I've been saving this, is that you play pre-generated characters.
Right.
And the selection of those pre-generated characters is one of the wildest things I've ever encountered in a role-playing game. You have your choice of playing Nostradamus.
Whoa.
Oh, my friend, this...
Right out the gate. That's what you hit me with.
Yeah, because that's the least surprise. Well, I guess so you could also play Harold Haradra, who's a Viking king, the Welsh freedom fighter Owen Glendower, who is the only Welshman to hold the title the Prince of Wales. He was a rebel against the English, and he was never caught. He Welsh national hero. You could also play Doc Holliday.
Oh my God.
Cyrano de Bergerac.
Jesus Christ.
And the thing I think that the character I think who really pushes this into the most what the fuckiest like territory, Bruce Lee.
I'm going to be honest with you. Out of all the characters that you listed, I feel like Bruce Lee is the most like Bruce Lee and Doc Holliday are the most like, all right, I guess I could see it. Like they make sense in a way. But Cyrano de Bergerac, come on, man. It probably is the only RPG ever created where you can play as Cyrano on purpose.
Yeah. And Nostradamus. And Nostradamus, of course, has a bunch of pre-written prophecies that can help you navigate the plot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude can see the future. Like, how does this work? that's an NPC, not a PC.
Yeah. It's no, but he is a PC. He's like, and I think that he's the healer of the party too.
Okay.
It's a wild ride. I kind of want to run it because the system is so simple, but I also don't want to run it because I don't want to. I love it. I love it the potential, like I don't want to unleash the potential and be disappointed by it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
want it to
no,
just
no, no.
like exist in this unplayed form for me, just because it's one of the weirdest things that I've ever come across.
Like to me, like the fantasy booking I'm doing in my head right now, I don't think anything. You're right. I don't think anything would ever live up to it.
And then it's not like a cheap product. I mean, like he definitely printed it himself, like at a print house in Ohio somewhere. But it's like decent enough quality. It's basically on par with any other given like floppy module from 1985. And he's got illustrations, but like the illustrations are really good. John Totleben does at least 3 illustrations. And I was just like, I know his name. He inked Swamp Thing. Like, how'd you get that guy? I know how he got that guy. He worked on the D&D toys while Moldvay was at TSR, so they probably met or he had contact info. But still, John Totleben in this dinky weirdo module. It's weird. It's one more bit of evidence that when you think you've seen it all, there's just one more thing around the corner. You're just waiting to find it, and it's gonna fall in front of you, and you're gonna just be like, "What on earth is this?" That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like that's a solid place to wrap it up. I mean, if that's all you got.
I can't always just come on here and ramble for an hour about mythology, man. Like sometimes I just got to do like 10 minutes on a weird thing and just be like, all right, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm still like trying to wrap my head around playing Nostradamus in an RPG. I think, you know what? I'm going to say I think playing Nostradamus is, in my head, a much bigger ask than playing like Cyrano de Bergerac. I imagine like Cyrano's like charming. Like Cyrano would probably be like the guy, like you said, to talk to the guy who's guarding the gate, being like, "Hey, man, why don't you let me in? Just a little guy with a big nose. We're not looking for trouble."
The illustration of him is pretty great because he does have a gigantic schnoz.
Oh God, my God, yeah. Because what was that Steve Martin movie, Roxanne?
Yeah. Oh God, I forgot all about that movie.
Yeah. No, I only think about it because it's that's one of the last ones where Steve Martin was actually funny in for a very long time.
It's true.
Yeah, he started doing like friggin' family movies, and it was definitely like probably made a fortune, but just coming out of the '80s for a lot of those comics who made like kind of like somewhat edgy, funny movies. That was like kind of a hard downshift, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Steve Martin was always sort of like wanted to do other stuff. I mean, as funny as Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is, I don't think of it as a comedy per se.
Yeah, fair play.
And he was in Spanish Prisoner, which is just fantastic,
bonkers.
But so like he's sort of like I think even weirder because like he had that ability to do dramatic stuff, and then he decided to do all those terrible family movies.
Yeah.
How many Pink Panther remakes did he make?
I don't even know, man. I just, it's, I mean, but then you watch him now on like Only Murders in the Building, and he's fantastic. He's like, he's got that perfect mixture of like, he's got legit like dramatic acting chops, but also he's still Steve Martin. He's still hilarious.
Yeah.
And a fantastic banjo player, by the way.
Yeah, that's the man contains multitudes. He's not just the jerk.
He's not just the jerk. Anyway, we realize we've been talking to like a lot of people for all 8 years about their Kickstarters, and it kind of gets a little tedious. So what we're going to start doing on the show at the end of the episodes is we're going to start mentioning Kickstarters that are pretty cool. And instead of having people on to do full length interviews, we're just going to kind of let you know what's hip, what's happening, what's now, and you can take a look on your own, doing the Google search, as it were. But we got a couple cool things happening right now or coming up right now. Actually, when this episode airs, you probably heard me at the top of the hour talking about Death City. Death City is coming to Kickstarter on October 21st. The folks over at Polyhedra Games are just lovely, and they're really passionate about the games that they make. And this one seems like it's going to be a really good one, so definitely check out Death City on Kickstarter October 21st. Also, last week we had our friend Brian Colin on talking about Vastgrim Escaping Stasis. That still has about a week to go on Kickstarter. You can check that out, Vastgrim Escaping Stasis as well. And if you really want to help your old buddy HB out, Under the Shadow of the Noonday Witch is my first third-party adventure for Sickest Witch. You've heard us talking to Justin Soroyce from Severed Books on the show before. This is actually the first ever third-party adventure for Sickest Witch. He asked us to do it as the ones to kind of break that world open for third-party creators. So it's written by Sally Canarino and Gio Colazzo, illustrated by Sally Canarino. It's going to be a beautiful zine, Under the Shadow of the Noonday Witch, on Kickstarter right now. So yeah, that's going to be our new feature, a little crowdfunding corner, if you will. We're still going to do interviews. We're still going to talk to different creators. We're just not going to be as focused as we have been for a long time with promoting Kickstarters and crowdfunding campaigns. We definitely want to talk to more creators about the cool stuff that they're making and not necessarily try to make it a sales pitch. So end of the episodes, if you guys are hip to some cool Kickstarters and you want me to mention it, just hit us up in the Discord. So this has been another amazing episode of the Vintage RPG Podcast. Stu, where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me at vintagerpg.com. You'll find a post about this game along with photos and all that jazz sometime next year because I have written all of 2026's posts.
Yeah,
They're
you
all
did.
Done.
Champ.
I'm halfway through the 2,000 pictures that I have to process for next year's feed. That should be done in a couple days, and then I will be free of 2026 and all things for the rest of the year. I'm going to just tranquilly read books and talk to Joe Goodman about Goodman Games.
Hell yeah, man. And also appear on WFMU from time to time when your show, Games People Play, is on.
That's true. I was just on last night. We're recording this on Wednesday, so we were on Tuesday, and we did a whole show on vampires and games. That was pretty fun, and it ended. I just have to say that we usually have 3 songs besides our intro. We break up the chat with two songs in the middle, and then we have a closer. And usually the closer is a cover of our intro song. But I said to Sarah, I was like, "Look, this might be the only chance we get to play I Still Believe on the radio from Lost Boys."
Oh, yeah, you did.
So we slammed that. It was pretty funny, too. We were watching the chat, and people were like, "Greasy Sax Man." It's just, it's a great song.
Yeah.
And, radio's fun.
Tim Capella, man, one of the greatest cameos in a movie by a complete unknown at that time in history. Yeah. Like imagine that, like you show up in a movie, like, they talk about like, back in the day, Alex Baldwin showed up at the Glengarry Glen Ross with the Coffees for Closer speech, right?
Yeah.
But by that point, Alec Baldwin, very well-known actor.
Yeah, he was a thing.
He was a thing at that point. But you're looking at the Lost Boys. They're like, oh, we want like some band on the beach. Well, this dude's ripped and he's playing a saxophone. Let's just have him do it. And like literally out of nowhere, and I'm sure there's people going to come for me in the comments, be like, oh my God, but Tim Capella was this and that. I've seen Tim Capella live. Fantastic live show. Lost Boys, one of my favorite movies. But let's be real, wasn't exactly burning up the charts when this movie came out. And suddenly he is everywhere. And now, I don't know, I think it was at the 30th anniversary party where he played at QXT's, of all places, the Vampire Bar, a couple towns over. Legit, it's a goth vampire club. Google it. But God, it's got to be 41 years now since the Lost Boys came out, and still people are making fan art, people are making jokes, people are referencing it because I still believe.
He's in the season finale of the second season of Reservation Dogs, and like
Shut up, really?
Yes, because they go to LA and he's there. He's like he's in the back. It's in the background, but like it's just fantastic. Like it was as if they were making that episode for me, like just for me. I was just like, why is this happening? So great. Yeah, no, love that guy. Love that song. Love that guy. He was Tina Turner's sax player for a long time, I think.
Yeah, he was. He sure was. Also, still looks great, man. Still looks great. He doesn't have like the beefy muscles like he did in the Lost Boys. He's got those lean muscles, but he still works out. He keeps it tight. Tim Capello keeps it tight. And also the other guy played too, Cry Little Sister.
Oh yeah. I don't know his name.
No, I don't know either. But all I know is I'm at a vampire bar with our buddy Mike and a few other people, and we are fully in the bag. And all of a sudden, the guy gets up there, and he looks like you look at this guy as he gets up to the stage, you're like, that guy's going to sing Cry Little Sister. And he did.
Yeah.
It was freaking awesome.
And that's the problem with doing a 1 hour talk show on vampires and games, is that actually what I wanted to do was play about 1 million songs that were about vampires.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It was
the
just
Vampire,
like,
Rocky Emerson. I mean,
yeah, like Rocky was so we wound up with, we played a cut from Sinners, and we played a cut from, we played a Concrete Blonde, Bloodletting, because it's literally called the Vampire Song. But like when I was I was really torn between Bloodletting and Rocky Erickson. I was like, oh, which one do I do? I felt like Rocky Erickson was like the easy WFMU pick because they love Rocky, and I love Rocky. But like I felt like, kind of keep it goth. And we from there we went to talking about Vampire the Masquerade. So it made more sense to kind of like go with the gothier.
gotta go with the gothier stuff.
But like if I had the time, like We Bite by the Misfits like Vampira, or Bobby Bear's Vampira. That song is great.
That's great. Yeah.
There's just so many. There's so many vampire. And now I want to do an episode on werewolves, so I could do some werewolf songs.
Yeah.
It's all about what I secretly want to do, I guess, is be a DJ, even though that sounds crazy. But
I mean, you get a great voice for radio. I mean, people, we've been doing this like 8 years. People must not hate your voice that much. The audience continues to grow, and thank you for that, everyone. We really do appreciate the audience. Sorry, that was a fun little tangent. You can find me across the internet, John McGuire RPG. I've been posting more. The Kickstarter that I mentioned previously, Under the Shadow of the Noonday Witch, is live. It's funded. It is going to be a real cool time, so definitely check that out. If you like the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Your reviews really do help other listeners to find us. If you really like the show, why not become a patron? Patreon.com/vintagerepg. We got a behind-the-scenes look at the stuff Stu's working on. We got a behind-the-scenes look at some of the stuff that we have going on. Otherwise, we have a killer Discord community, truly an oasis from the complete wild and wacky world outside that we'd love for you to be a part of. For as little as $1 a month, you get episodes early, sometime between Friday and Sunday. We have a $5 tier where you can play a game with me every single month. I tend to try to run things that we talk about on the show. I also have a play by email campaign for 1-900 Fantasy written by Brian Shutter. It is literally a correspondence campaign that we play over email. So every week and a half, depending on when everyone gets their responses, then you get a new thing to do. The $10 tier, you can get it on my game and on Stu's deadly, now going on almost 3 years, West Marches campaign. It's a great time, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. Patreon.com/vintagerepg. So for Stu Horvath, I'm John Hambone McGuire. May the dice always roll in your favor. Take care. Thanks for listening. The Vintage RPG Podcast is a ham-fisted production. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Schaefer Brown. Edited by R. Alex Murray. Check us out at vintagerepg.com.